Hi, welcome to today's Yin Vin flow. For today's practice, you are going to want a blanket and a bolster, or a normal pillow from your bed works just fine. We'll start with the Yin portion of poses, then we'll move into our vinyasa flow. To get started, we are going to be in a child's pose. So if you want to take a few moments here to set yourself up. With Yin poses, we do hold them longer, so you might want to have the blanket under your knees for a little cushioning. I prefer to have the blanket rolled up between my heels and my sit bones or my hips. Just gives me a little more cushioning, feels a little more comfortable that way. Give yourself a few moments here to settle in. Arms can be extended, or you might bring opposite hand to opposite elbow. Sometimes that feels supportive. Give yourself some time, adjust as you need to. And then when you're ready, body and mind settle into stillness. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Give yourself about 3 more rounds of breath here. When that's complete, allowing yourself to move nice and slow. Can press up to a seated position, removing that blanket wherever you had it. And we're gonna set up for half frog, the Yin version. So we'll take the blanket about midpoint of the mat and then start to work your way forward to lying on your belly. You'll bring your right knee out to the right side, about 90 degrees, so ankle and knee are supported by the blanket here. And then creating a little pillow with your hands, or you can use a bolster if that feels okay in your neck. In fact, that's what I'm gonna do. That sounds better. You can lower yourself down. You can keep your forehead resting right at a neutral, or I should say straight on position. Or if you'd like to bring a bit of a twist, you can bring your right ear to the bolster or mat. And as always, give yourself some time, adjust as you need to, and then allow yourself to settle into stillness. Start to deepen your breath here. And then if you've taken that twist, bring your forehead back to neutral. Gently rock your head side to side. And then press yourself up to an easy, or I should say comfortable seat. Just up to our knees for a moment. And then take that blanket to the other side. Again, about midpoint of your mat. Left knee, left ankle are supported there. Adjusting as you need to. You'll see that I removed the bolster. It didn't feel quite as good as I was thinking. Creating a little pillow with your hands or using that bolster. Forehead can rest on the back of your hands or roll your left ear to the mat. Give yourself a few moments here and then settle in. Give yourself about 3 more breaths here. When that's complete for you, bring your neck back to neutral, gently rocking that forehead. Extend your left leg long and then press up to that kneeling position once more. Setting up for full frog, I like to come to the side of my mat, so lengthwise. And then taking that bolster in front of you off to the side of your mat, you'll start in almost a tabletop position and then start to take your knees a bit wider, finding your edge here. You might have your ankles right in line with your knees, or in some bodies it feels good to have the ankles a little wider. Once you've found your edge, you can lower down to your forearms, resting on that bolster for a bit of cushion. Give yourself a few rounds of breath here. This is a bit more of an intense yin pose. So again, finding that 70% edge. We'll hold it for a bit of an extended time period, but if you need to come out before I prompt us to do so, you are more than welcome to, as always. Give yourself about 3 more breaths here. And I wish there was a really graceful way to get out of this, but what I find works best, press into your hands and then start to shift your hips forward, bringing those knees together, and then sit back on your heels for just a moment if that feels okay in your knees. All right, Teton just woke up from a dream if you can hear him. Setting up for our next yin shape, Sphinx pose. You'll bring your bolster to the mat and then come to lying on your belly. Elbows press into the mat. Now, if you have that bolster right up against your ribs and it feels a little claustrophobic, you are welcome to just pull it right out. And settling in, finding what works for you. Toes should be untucked here. Eyes can be soft or closed. And then gentle engagement in that upper body, squeezing your shoulder blades together just slightly. Soft, low body, scanning for anywhere you can bring release. 3 more breaths wherever you are. And then gently press yourself up out of that position. You can remove that bolster off to the side. And then once again, coming to a child's pose, we won't be here for as long. Hips towards your heels, knees as wide as feels good. Then starting to add in some movement, walk your hands to the right. Left hand might stack on top of right, creating some space between the ribs on that left side of the body. Give yourself a moment to breathe here. Next breath, come back to center and then over to the left. Right hand can stack on top of left, creating space between the ribs on the right side of the body. Breathe here. Walking your hands back to center once more. Press your elbows into the mat and then bring your hands to prayer hands, bringing them towards the nape of your neck, creating a little shark fin. And then you can walk your elbows forward as far as feels good. Just another round of breath here before you press up once again to a tabletop position. Hands under your shoulders here, knees under hips. Inhale to drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin. Inhale for cow, belly drops, gaze lifts. Exhale for cat, round your spine, tuck your chin. Give yourself a few more rounds here, following your pace of breath, adding in any other movement that feels good. Pausing next time you come to a neutral spine. Can walk your hands forward about a handprint, tuck your toes, lift your hips for downward facing dog. You might pedal out your legs here. You can shift your hips side to side, whatever feels good. Pressing into both of those hands equally. On an inhale, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale to half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, slowly roll up to a Tadasana, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae. Palms open forward, shoulders roll down your back. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Drop your right hand down your right side. Left arm reaches overhead, stretching to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, other side. Inhale to center. Exhale, other side. Inhale, center. Exhale, side stretch to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, cactus arms, heart lifts, elbows squeeze down. Inhale to reach tall once more. Exhale, bring your hands behind low back. Interlace your fingertips here, pressing your knuckles towards the floor, heart and gaze lift. Exhale, forward fold. Shoulders might extend, or I should say arms might extend over your shoulders. Or you can keep your hands towards your low back. Again, just honoring what's available in your shoulders, not cranking anything. Next breath, release, hands come to low back and then release to the mat. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root through your feet, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up once more. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale to half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root through your feet, Urdhva Hastasana, reach tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up once more. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale to half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back to your plank position. Inhale here in plank. Exhale all the way to the mat. Elbows graze your ribs, hands back by hips, toes untucked. Inhale, lift for locust. Squeeze your back body. Exhale, back to the mat. Inhale, press up to your plank, toes or knees. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Give yourself a few rounds of breath here. You might stay in down dog. You can take a tabletop, maybe some more movement would feel good here, or a child's pose if you're feeling called to that. Whatever feels best in your body. Next, inhale, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root through your feet, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up once more. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back to plank. Inhale in plank. Exhale for the mat. Untuck your toes, hands stay where they are. Inhale, lift your heart for cobra. Just as high as feels good. Exhale, back to the mat. Inhale, press up to your plank, toes or knees. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. Again, a few rounds of breath here. Finding any movement or stillness that feels good. If you're not in down dog, making your way there. Next round of breath, inhale, reach your right leg to the sky. Exhale, step it between your hands for crescent. Fingertips lift, all your toes point towards the top of the mat. Then bring your hands behind low back. Interlace your fingertips, press your knuckles towards the floor, heart towards the sky. Full round of breath here. Next breath, you can keep this grip if you'd like a bit of a challenge as we move to Warrior 3, or draw your hands to heart center. Start to shift your weight forward, then pressing into that front leg, back foot lifts, Warrior 3. Again, hands can stay clasped if that feels good, or they can be at heart center. Full breath here. Next breath, release, bend that front knee, release your grip, fingertips lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep left leg to sky. Exhale, step it between your hands, crescent on the other side. Fingertips lift, find your base first. Then draw your hands behind your back. You might interlace your fingertips with opposite thumb on top this time. Knuckles press towards the floor, heart and gaze lift. Breathe here. Once again, you are welcome to keep this grip or draw your hands to heart center. Begin to shift your weight forward. Lift into Warrior 3 on this side. Again, honoring what feels good. Rooting through that standing leg. Next breath, release, bend into your front knee, fingertips lift once more. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root through your feet, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking your feet a bit wider for Malasana. Heels might be on the mat, toes splayed off. Inhale, fingertips reach. Exhale, sink your hips down, just as far as is available for you. Pressing your hands together, elbows press into your knees here. And then adding some movement, right hand comes behind you, hips lift, left arm reaches overhead, half wheel. Come back to center, other side, left hand plants, right arm lifts, hips lift, back to center. Give yourself a few more rounds here, working at a pace that feels good for you. Taking breaks as you need to. You can always come to a forward fold if this starts to feel too intense on your knees or you want a bit of a counter stretch. Completing whatever round you're on either side. Pausing next time you're in Malasana. Can release your hips all the way to the mat. And then take your feet about hips distance. Soles of the feet press into the mat. Lower yourself down to a reclined position. Pausing here, hips, shoulders, head, all supported by the mat. Hands are down by your hips, palms pressing into the floor. On an inhale, lift your hips high off the mat, squeezing your glutes. You can stay right here or clasp your hands under your seat, walking your shoulders a bit closer together. Breathe here. Wherever you are, give yourself about 3 rounds of breath. When that's complete for you, slowly lowering down. Now checking in with your body here. If that was enough back bending, you are welcome to stay here on the mat. I'll guide us through a round of wheel, but if that feels like too intense of a back bend, you can always stay here and bridge. So checking in with your body. If you're joining us for wheel, you'll take your hands by your shoulders, fingertips pointing back towards your shoulders, elbows point up towards the sky. Taking a moment here. And then on an inhale, lift your hips, pressing the soles of the feet and your palms into the mat equally. Give yourself about 3 rounds of breath. Of course, if it causes any zinging or pinching or your body is just ready to come out before I prompt us to do so, listening to that. Next breath, slowly lowering down, bending the elbows, allowing your body to settle into the mat once more. Bring your hands grounded back by your hips, palms press into the floor. Give yourself a full breath here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Next breath, you can bring your knees towards your chest. Happy baby. Hands can find the outer edges of the feet or the heels, or grabbing along the shins. Whatever allows you to access the pose. Add in any movement or stillness that feels good here. Next breath, knees hug into your chest once more, soles the feet to the mat. Arms can come out to a T or a cactus shape. Hips shift to the right, knees fall to the left. 3 rounds of breath here. Gaze can be over that right shoulder, or if it feels better in your neck, you can keep it up towards the sky. Next inhale, moving slowly, draw back to center, hips shift to the left, knees fall to the right. 3 breaths here, slow and steady. Waiting for that next inhale. Use it to draw yourself back to center. The knees hug into chest for a moment. Yogi hug, forehead squeezes up to the knees, tight ball. Exhale, extend into Shavasana. Legs extend long. Allow your body to be heavy here. Allow yourself to take up space here. Reminding ourselves this pose is just as important as any other shape we took today. And I'll let you know when to come out. Body can remain still. If it feels good and is available to you today, you are more than welcome to stay in this place of rest. If it's time to close out your practice, you can start with gentle movement. You might rock your head side to side, maybe wiggle your fingers and toes. Even a nice good morning stretch, fingertips overhead, toes opposite direction. When you're ready, guide yourself to a fetal position on either side. Give yourself a moment there before you press up to a comfortable, easy seat. Embracing these last few moments of practice to feel into some gratitude. You showed up today, honored your body with movement and with rest, reminding ourselves of that importance. We'll close with a collective breath. Inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, draw your hands back to heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Thank you for being part of this rad community, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.